Hello, friends, and welcome back. Michael Butler here, proud and honored to be with Renée Mollan-Masters, director, writer, and producer of Peace Train, A Love Story. Renée, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. Congratulations on Peace Train coming to the world.
Yay. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. I appreciate your help, too.
Well, we were just talking about kids at camp and how that is a time in young people's lives. I mean, the movie and the book and the screenplay deal with hatred, prejudice, bigotry, love, murder, attempted murder. And really the theme is cultures that aren't supposed to get along begin to get along. And it happens right there at camp. Give us a little peek into the book, what it's about and why you wrote it.
Well, I wanted to write something that was inspiring, and I wanted to write something that brought a new idea to the table, because we always focus on the problem. We never focus on the solution. And if you focus on the solution, the problem just sort of takes care of itself. But at this camp, these kids have been taught to hate each other. They're on the bus, they're afraid, they're going, oh man, I don't know if I can make friends. And they get to camp and they make friends almost instantly.
Something amazing and magical happens with the millennials. I think they're more open to embrace change and believe that we can get along. But also it overcomes generations of hate. You know, Palestinian and Israelis, Israeli and Palestinians. We see this big virtual group hug going on, and it's not just a pie in the sky dream. It's actually happening. What motivated you to write Peace Train, and give us a little insight into what people are going to see when they come see it in the theater soon?
Well, I heard my editor told me of the story of these camps. And when I went to the website and read the testimonies of the kids, they were the ones that said, man, at camp we made friends easily, but when we got home, everything fell apart. Their friends turned on them. They stopped going to Facebook because it was just, people were really being mean. And so the story is, it's about possibilities. So, okay, you have these kids that hate each other, and they end up liking each other, and they becoming really good friends. But the real reason this happens is that they're willing to be friends, and they're willing to see what's possible. And most of us, when we have an enemy in front of us, it's hard to want to forgive them. It's really hard. But if you are willing to say, okay, I am not going to hate anymore, and I know this person across from me I hate, and if you're willing to say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore, what happens is that there's an energy of love that comes in and softens those feelings, so that eventually you can get to a place of forgiveness. And I admit, at first, you can't do it. It's not there. You don't feel it. But if you have a willingness, that's what makes the difference.
There's a scene here in the lake, an attempted murder scene. Describe what's going on right there at one of the major climaxes of the movie.
Well, two of the kids go out in a double canoe or kayak, and one is a Palestinian and one is an Israeli. And so they're paddling along, and this one, the Palestinian has been a real pain to everybody. He has not wanted to be friends with anybody. So they're in this boat and they're going, paddling along, and the boat gets stuck. And so the Palestinian guy stands up to see what's sticking it, and the Israeli is really pissed off at him because he's just said something horrible to him. And he takes his paddle and he pushes him into the lake. Well, the Palestinian doesn't know how to swim, and the Israeli doesn't know that, but he throws him a life jacket and he starts to paddle off. And then a bird poops on his head and he goes, oh, wait a minute, I can't do this. And he wipes it off and he says, this guy is awful and I really shouldn't save him, but I really don't want him to drown. And that's the beginning of a big healing that takes place at camp.
There's tension-filled moments. There's the moment of falling in love, infatuation, flirting with a teenage counterpart, the kiss, the famous camp kiss that so many young people experience first love at camp. I really love what former Good Morning America correspondent Elizabeth Leamy says when she says Renée Mollan-Masters' book, Peace Train, is magic. This is on Amazon. And the back cover, in these divisive times, this book is just what we needed. Why can't we all just be like the young people in this book and learn to get along? I'm fascinated that the author says this book just came to her. Maybe it is magic, not just an inspiration, but also a great read. Elizabeth Leamy, former Dr. Oz correspondent, Washington Post columnist, and former Good Morning America correspondent. You've been getting a ton of great reviews like this. Renée, you talk about how the book, the message, Peace Train, and the Friendship Pod concept was downloaded to you. Give us a little insight into that. People are wanting to know.
Well, it was a wonderful experience. It really was. I didn't even know if I could write fiction. I'd written nonfiction. So I just sat down with my computer in my comfortable chair and I just kind of went to this place where I go when I write. And all of a sudden, this story sort of bubbled up and I began to write it. I could see it visually in my head. I could see the characters. I could see what was going on. And I even wrote some scenes that I didn't use because the story didn't go this way, it went this way. And it was like the story was evolving as it was being written. And I never knew from day to day what was going to happen. And one day I started in the morning and the next time that I looked up, it was dark outside. And it was just a great day. I loved it. I loved writing this story. It was so fun.
You were in a time warp, and you were given your gift of your inner creative to the world. That's a beautiful place to be, right? That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
I tell you, people can follow along at peacetrainmovie.com. Exciting announcements. You can follow all the social media happenings, exciting contests, and announcements. And of course, the audiobook's available, the print book, the ebook, and then some exciting announcements coming soon. So for new podcast listeners, we welcome you to Peace Train, a love story podcast. Listen to all the episodes, and every other week you're going to get an update on Peace Train, a love story. Renée, what would you say to a young person that is an aspiring writer, actor, screenplay writer? What would you say to them? Give them some advice.
I would say get in touch with the dream. It's not about being famous. It truly isn't. It's about doing something that you absolutely love. And if you absolutely love it, do it. And figure out, point yourself in a particular direction, and magic can happen. It really can.
Well, you're following your dreams. You're living proof of it. You're following your dreams. Renée Mollan-Masters, you sold 125,000 copies of You're Smarter Than You Think. Go to peacetrainmovie.com now and get the fiction and discover why Renée has started not only a book, a movie, and now a movement. So follow along. Don't miss a single update. Renée, thank you so much. And we're so glad that Meg, your dog, is doing well and better and out there meeting the UPS person every week with new books showing up in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. Thank you, Renée.
Thank you, Michael.
Have a great week.
Okay.